Happy birthday, Zelda. Woo! It's 10:30 p.m. the night before. I am very good at time management. But yeah, I didn't really have anything special planned, so I figured I would just kind of play some Tears of the Kingdom and ramble for a bit about the series and what I want from the future. So yeah, let's just kind of hang out. I am very bad at commentating while playing this game because I keep getting sucked in, so apologies in advance. Like most people, I feel like I'm over the wild era of Zelda, you know? I thought that it was really fun to have this console generation-wide saga for Zelda. I think it was just really fun. Even when a lot of the discussion around it was really obnoxious at times. I would say most of the time. Oh my gosh. Oh my, suboptimal gameplay. What is this? Anyway, but yeah, I thought it was just really fun to have this console generation wide thing where it's just, you know, one specific style of Zelda. But, you know, I do think that this is something that should kind of be left to the Switch generation. And I know that Age of Imprisonment is a Switch 2 exclusive and all that, but at the same time, you know, it is clear that it was originally a Switch 1 game that got pushed to the Switch 2 because it just kind of ran better. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that, of course. You know, it's kind of just a nice transitionary title, I guess is how I would put it personally. All right, Abomination ready, let's go fly to Hyrule, boys. And already failing to lift off, baby. What's the problem here? Hold up. I am not rambling until I get this stupid thing airborne. All right, redesign. We gotta tweak the design. Fine. While we're here, right? I do not have any specific wants for the next Zelda. Mainly because I am pretty content with what they've been, you know, giving us for the last few decades. I've always kind of just liked Zelda more when they're doing their own thing. And even the games that I'm not as big a fan of, like Minish Cap or maybe a little controversial Echoes of Wisdom, you know, like they're not just making a game for, you know, like anyone in particular or whatever, you know, they're making the game that they want to make. And there's always something that I've just really respected about that. We gotta add wheels, clearly. I have not played this game in a really long time, okay? Shut up. But yeah, I've always liked when Zelda kind of does its own thing. And so the big want that I have is that wait, is that going the right way? Ah, they're backwards. Come on, man. Wait, is that? No, it's the, bro. Nah, this is, suboptimal gameplay. What's even the point? Dude, I can't even, okay, but this is the front, so it needs to be, so the one on the left is correct. No, the one on the right is correct. I'm so bad at this game. I am so bad. The common thing is like, why would you build anything? Because, you know, you could always just make the, why would you do that when you can just build a flying machine? And the answer is because it's fun, darn it. The thing is, it is way more inefficient to do this than just building a hover bike, but it's not fun to build a hover bike. I don't know. Oh, lift off, baby. Woo, finally. Well worth it. No, I'm reloading the save. No, we're doing that again. Okay, we're gonna be more efficient in the design. I know where I screwed up. But like, okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about, like when I really love this game and why I consider it one of my favorites, because the act of building things, there's an inherent satisfaction to it, you know? It is inefficient, but it's also like fun, so who cares that it's inefficient? I don't know, there's something just really satisfying and tactile about the building system that, you know, you just don't really get in other games, you know, like even Minecraft. I just like when Zelda does its own thing, and it's not like Tears of the Kingdom is perfect. I have my problems with the game. I feel like it's a game all about player freedom to do stupid stuff like this. Just build like the dumbest freaking things imaginable. But there's so many weird design decisions that it makes that go counter to that. If we kind of pull this out, for example, right? The Hylian hood. Not in a way. But you know, the hood. Why do I have to do an entire quest just to put the hood down? it's in the key art. It is Link's main look, and so it's like, why do I have to do an entire side quest in Hateno Village? Why do I have to do an entire side quest there in order to unlock this? It's a really bizarre design decision. And it's a fun quest, but I feel like unlocking Cece's armor shop in general is a good enough reward. Why do you have to put that behind there too? And you can access every single dungeon in the entire game, but the Construct Factory is the only one that you can actually like do out of order. It's arbitrary. And also I feel like the game is pretty grindy. Like you'll notice in this save file, I only have the one energy cell, and if we come over here, I only have 20 crystallized charges. It's just not fun trying to upgrade the battery, which is also a problem when you consider that the game actively encourages you to build stuff. It's, you know, it is the gimmick of the game. It's the big thing, and it's really fun and satisfying, but you can't even really use your creations all that much because you're just limited, and I don't like that. It feels counter. Oh, I forgot the fans. So I hope that the next game kind of cuts down on the grindy elements and allows for proper player freedom. When I say proper player freedom, you know, just like I want it to where it's like consistent. I want to be able to visit any dungeon in the game in any order I want. So that only took 15 minutes, baby. Woo! Okay. And also, like, you know, there's like a lot of other stuff, like the menuing for Fuse and all that. It's just obnoxious the further in the game you get. But, you know, the big one really is the player freedom. I want a game that I can go to the dungeons and I don't have to be limited by the current where we're at of the story. You know, I don't like story gates. I want everything in the next game to be locked behind a skill gate instead. You know, there's a real sense of accomplishment. Well, I mean, I was gonna do a big gamer play, but then I just kind of fumbled it because I forgot I only have the Master Sword equipped for the aesthetic pleasingness of the video. Oh, hey, look, it's Zelda! Woo! I'm a visitor. You know, I like the progression gate because it's more satisfying when I am the one who did that, and I like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. You face Ganon and Ganondorf when you are ready, you know, when you're strong enough to do it personally, as opposed to when the story dictates you are. I don't know, there's just something kind of more satisfying about that, you know? Wait, I didn't pick it up? Really? Oh, come on. Wait. We can fix this, we can fix this. Oh yeah, baby, I freaking love this game. See, this is why this game is freaking awesome. Do you see how fun that is, right? When you screw up and are just able, like, come on, man. Dude, I keep getting sidetracked. Oh, what was I even talking about? I just feel like open air Zelda has so much more potential than just following Breath of the Wild's formula. And honestly, I think Tears of the Kingdom, I am very good at video games. The cope is that it's not Breath of the Wild 3, but I am not going to believe that we're out of the Wild era properly until I see it. You are the most obnoxious, freaking selfish jerks I've ever met in my life. Now, I know I could be using my shield, but what was I talking about? Like Zelda or something? I'm mainly just not letting go of the possibility of Breath of the Wild 3 so that I'm not disappointed if that is what the next game turns out to be. Because I feel like part of the reason that I was able to enjoy Tears of the Kingdom so much is because I just wanted more Breath of the Wild with different mechanics. And, you know, that's exactly what the game is. It's just more Breath of the Wild, but with different mechanics. I feel like not being in the same map as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is gonna help a lot. So I'm honestly not too worried, even if it is. I feel like the big things is less, you know, this art style or these characters, and it's more like the themes of the game. You know, Zelda games are always kind of built around a central theme. I think it's more important that whatever the next Zelda game is, that has a thematic difference from Breath of the Wild, and it has a kind of a structural difference. And, you know, Tears of the Kingdom was kind of different, but it is definitely trying to follow the exact same structure as Breath of the Wild, and then kind of, it doesn't play with it as much as I think the next game will. I mean, I do think it is kind of neat how this game kind of has the same structure, and you go to Hyrule Castle and even kind of face Ganon, but then there's an entire other little section of the quest, like that was kind of neat. Aw, yeah, let's go. Where do we want to go? Okay, so the brilliant strategy is just add more. What do you mean I can't take that out here? I can take out whatever I want, wherever I want. Why did I take out 3? 2D Zelda is also something that I think could kind of benefit from this, I don't have a disdain for Echoes of Wisdom, but it is definitely not one of my favorites, and I feel like part of it is because it doesn't use the echo mechanic to its fullest potential, And I do feel like it is a pretty good step in the right direction for what Zelda should kind of mechanically focus on, as this really open-ended mechanic that you can do a lot with, but you're very limited unless you explore, and the ways in which you explore and how you explore on multiple playthroughs kind of affects your creativity. It affects how you kind of approach problems, and the problem with Echoes of Wisdom is that the mechanic itself, it is, you just press a button and it solves the problem for you. I don't want games that are just kind of confined to one specific kind of style or a progression structure. The only thing that I really want from the next 3D Zelda, structure-wise, is just being able to go and face the final boss whenever I want. I guess I've always felt like I was more open-minded to change and just letting them do whatever and just mess around with whatever mechanics they kind of, just whatever mechanics they felt like messing around with for that particular game. So it's like, yeah, you want to make a game that's very similar to the previous one, but with building, like, sure, I'm gonna make sure that I use that mechanic, even when I'm not super creative and I build stuff like this. It's still a lot of fun. I want the next game to kind of instill these kinds of feelings, Yeah, Zelda is just such a special series to me, and getting to ramble about some of my thoughts, that's just kind of nice, Because most of the time when I'm just talking, it's always in an analytical, games under the microscope sort of way. I feel like I've always been in the minority opinion within the Zelda fan base, And if I'm being honest, I kind of don't want anything to, oh, no, that's just fine, it's over. But I feel like I've always been in the minority opinion, and it's reached a point where it's not just that I have a different opinion, it's that I have to be like somehow, I'm an inferior human being, and I don't have as much value because I just like a couple of video games. I guess most videos talking about, what they'd want next for Zelda would just be return to the traditional formula, or, converge what worked for open air and traditional. And like, I just want them to make an experience that wasn't designed by a fan. I want them to make what they want to make, and the truth is, what they want to make isn't the same as what the fans want. And I'm generally, I don't know, I just haven't really been impressed with a lot of the ideas or a lot of the suggestions that people have had. I feel Breath of the Wild's, the main goal with Breath of the Wild was to challenge the idea of what a Zelda game could be, and most people did not want to be challenged. They did not accept that, and they did not open their minds to what Zelda could be and all that. It's just completely poisoned the discourse. And I'll still talk about Zelda because I love this series. You can see how much I love it with the playlist. I won't shut up about it. But it's still just kind of disheartening when what I want and when everything, all my opinions, all my thoughts are just constantly disregarded and all that. I guess the point of this video was kind of the same as the original Tears of the Kingdom video, which is just a little counter perspective, I don't know how much I have left in me. I don't even really know if any of this is salvageable, if it's worth watching or any of that. Thank you for listening to me ramble about Zelda. Maybe this would have been better if I wasn't trying to simultaneously play Tears of the Kingdom, because I keep getting distracted by the game and all that. I don't even know if I made all the points I wanted to make, but regardless, I thank you for listening to me. Here is to another 40 years of this wonderful series.